Hey everybody, welcome back to the Lofty Loops Yarns podcast. This is episode 91 and I know it's been quite a while since the last one. I did throw up a few videos over Tour de Fleece, but more on that later. But it's been so long since I've sat down to update everyone on what I've been working on over the past few months. And boy, this episode's gonna be a doozy. I've got quite a few projects, quite a lot of finished things to share. And then so much spinning, so much spinning has happened. So if that sounds like your cup of tea, then settle in, grab a snack, a beverage, maybe a blanket, grab a project, kick your shoes off. We might be here a little while. But I am Allison. I'm the owner behind Lofty Loops Yarns, and I live in Lincoln, Nebraska with my family. And what else? I just make all the things in my spare time. So I'm constantly knitting, constantly crocheting. Really lately it's been all spinning. And then I dye yarn to sell in my shop, and more again on that later. But if you're a new viewer, thanks so much for checking out the podcast. I hope you'll stick around. If you've been here a while, thanks for your patience and coming back. And I'm excited to get to chat with y'all again. If you'd like to follow me, you can find me most active over on Instagram as Lofty Loops. There is a Facebook page that gets posted over there as well. And then, you know, most of the social medias, you can find them all linked in the description box below, along with anything else I chat about in this episode, including yarn dyers, fiber dyers, pattern makers, Ravelry project pages, all the things. You should be able to find a link down below. If not, please leave a comment and I will find you a link if I forgot to include that. So with all that being said, I'm like looking around. I started keeping notes. I just dropped everything out of this notebook. I tried to keep notes after episode 90. And it's been so long that I was like moving things around, crossing things out, switching things up. So I like had to sit down and be like, okay, what did I actually finish since then? And what did I start? Like what? It's been so long. And I really need to stop letting so much time go in between, because then there's so much to update when really it should just be a quick, cutesy little updates every now and again. First things first, let's talk about what I've finished. And I'm like looking around. Of course, I left them all on the other side. I flip-flopped my office around just because I needed some change. And so now you might notice there's this, the green wall is behind me. I don't know, furniture pretty much stayed the same. I literally just flip-flopped, but now everything that I used to talk about is over there when it should be over here. So I'm gonna go grab that. And it seems my battery's dying, because what would a podcast be without a battery dying within the first 5 minutes? Gotta love it. Okay, first up on my list, I'm gonna go through all of the finished socks. So this will hopefully go pretty quickly because there's a lot of them, but most of them are just plain vanilla socks. So first one, because I have them on the blocker, these are my January Color Cube Club socks. And if you're familiar with Lofty Loops Yarns, for the past almost 2 years, I've been doing a Color Cube Club membership where essentially I have a box. It's a color cube. It's made for artists. And it's just full of cards with different images and palettes, and I pull a different card each month and then dye yarn based on the palette chosen. So this was January's club colorway, and I love the soft gray and the pops, the blues. It was a really pretty wintry vibe and perfect for January. So I knit these up on, let's see, I can't even remember. It looks like it is my soft sock base, and I love it. Just a plain vanilla sock, nothing to write home about. I do have that pattern written up if you're interested. It's just a couple bucks, but really I just do a 2x2 rib for anywhere from, I don't know, 20 to 25 rounds depending on how I'm feeling. Usually I do 50 rounds for each leg, a slip stitch, heel flap, and gusset. and then I do 50 more rounds before starting the toe, and that is generally what fits me the best. So if I'm making socks for myself, that's kind of the formula I go by. But really love these. They turned out super great. I did not use the contrast color, so each month you have the option, or the people that join the club have the option to include a contrasting mini skein if they want to do heels, toes, and cuffs with it, or stripe it, or however they want to do that. I chose not to do that with these. And again, in no particular order, I'm just grabbing these off the pile because there are lots of socks. I'm just gonna put one on the blocker. They are both done. So this is the October Color Cube Club from last October. And again, just for some reason, the cards that I end up pulling are just, it's perfect timing. These were perfect for October. They're very autumnal and just, I don't know, they just give pumpkin patch, changing leaves. It was just a very cool palette and it was great timing. This one I did use the contrast color for my heels and toes. Same idea, same vanilla sock. And this I knit up on my tweed base. So you can see the little tweedy neps in there, which I think just adds to the autumnal fall vibes. So another finished pair that I'm excited to add to my sock drawer. And we are like inching closer to the weather to where I can actually wear these without feeling like I want to die. In Nebraska, it has been so warm, like 90s, upper 80s to mid 90s-ish, and it's been so humid that the real feel feels like much more than that. And so we're all just surviving right now. It's the humidity, and apparently it's called the corn sweat. I just learned this. I've been living in the Midwest the majority of my life, and I just realized what corn sweat is, and apparently it's a very real thing. So when we're surrounded by cornfields, all that corn that's growing is giving off all of that moisture, or it's sweating, and then it so generously gives it to all of us to live with. And yes. So with that being said, there has been no sock wearing recently, which is a shame because I'm very excited to wear a lot of these. Next finished sock project. This one I had half finished last time we spoke, I believe, and this is Snowy Tree, let me get this right, Snowy Pine Treant, and this is a colorway by Chromatic Yarns, Hannah, the Corner of Craft, and plain vanilla socks. I can't remember the base for sure, but it's just, I think it's her sparkle base, because if you can see, I don't know how well that's going to come across. There is some like glitzy Lorex in there, which is different than Stellina. There you can maybe kind of make it out here. The sparkle, the Lorex is longer, and so it's really spun really well into the rest of the fibers, whereas Stellina is very short, so it kind of sticks out and it's very softer. This one is more incorporated within the yarn, if that makes sense. But I love these socks, and this base is so soft that I'm very excited to get to snuggle up in these. And I just love Hannah's yarn. I really have to treat myself because she's over in the UK, and so I love her stuff, and so it's definitely, I don't order from overseas very often, so when I do, I treat myself, and that's where Hannah's stuff comes in. The next finished sock that I have is an old whip. I think I finished the first one in 2018, maybe 2020. It's been a long time. It's been over a chunk of years. I finally gave it its mate, and happy to have this done and be able to mark it as done in my Ravelry project pages. And this is the New Horizons colorway by, okay, started these in September of 2020, finished them April 26, 2025. So the first one had been done for years and it just sat there. lonely. And so I finally knit up the second one. It is by Peach Queen Yarns, who is no longer going or operating under that name. And I can't remember what her new business name is, but I'll make sure to put it in the description below. But these were, of course, inspired by Animal Crossing when that was all anyone was doing in the midst of the COVID lockdown. We were all living our best outside lives on an island with animals. And I fell deep, deep, deep into Animal Crossing on my Switch, as one does or did. And when I saw this colorway, I knew I had to have it. So this is inspired by Animal Crossing New Horizons. And I love the soft colors. Again, no contrast was used. I just plain vanilla sock, knit the cuff a little bit longer, did my rounds for the leg, and just kept on going with that same striped. Didn't even think about stripe patterning or anything like that. I just was just having a blast. And so you'll see here where things kind of got a bit wonky, where those stripes, I didn't quite get through the green down here. So you'll see a little bit of green, and over here on this side, you'll see a little bit of pink, but I don't care. They're my socks and I love them. And so I just kept going. I did do some management to make sure that I started them in the same place. But you can see, I think maybe it's this one, for example, my gauge must have changed, shock, in 5 years. And so these stripes around here don't match up as exact as they could, but again, they're my socks, so I don't care. But yeah, it's funny how your gauge will change after 5 years of knitting. I really need to stop doing that. I really, really, really need to stop finishing a sock and then forgetting about it for multiple years. It's so sad when I do that. And as I say that, I'm gonna share a half sock that has not had the second one started. So I really should stop doing that. Wink, 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 as I continue to do it. Whatever, it's fine. This one is the April Color Cube Club from this year. And so it is a finished sock. I have not, like I mentioned, haven't cast on the second, don't know when I will, but just wanted to see what this looked like knit up. It's very pretty, very different. Kind of similar maybe to October, but like definitely has blues and brighter oranges in there. Whereas this one's a lot more brown and autumnal. This one's kind of punchy. I did use the contrast color for my heels, toes, same vanilla sock. So here you can see, I took this from Crazy Sock Lady ages ago. She does this where she puts a light bulb stitch marker every 10 rounds so she can keep track. And then I start it when I end the gusset, and then I know, okay, I've done my 50, start the toe. Then when I go to knit the second sock, I just leave these here. When I go to start the second sock, I'll move them from this one over to the other one, and then I know they'll be exactly the same. Even though 9.5 times out of 10, I'm following the exact same formula. But when you have years in between and you forget, these come in very handy to make sure they are matching. So there we've got a half finished object. So many socks. Literally, I was on a sock knitting kick for sure. The only other finished object I don't have with me, unfortunately. I'll have to insert some photos, but as we know, the Labubu craze is happening, which makes me laugh because I just think about all those Beanie Babies I had to have because they were going to be worth so much money, and we all know how that worked out. So as I'm watching the Gen Zs, and I mean, I think they're cute. I don't own one myself. That's not to say I wouldn't, because I do think they're cute little gremlins. Nothing against them. I just think it's funny that like history is repeating itself in that way, and like Labubus right now are the hot ticket item and everyone needs to collect them. And then eventually, I'm sure a few years down the road, they're going to be worth nothing. But they're cute right now while they're lasting, and that's totally fine. But my son works at a place where they got some in stock, and so he was able to grab one when they came in. and because they've been really scarce here in town. And so he has 3D printed all of these cutesy little, I don't know, I think he made some headphones for it. He made like a Cuban link chain. He made a crossbody bag, like just all these crazy, ridiculous, cute little accessories he's 3D printing, which is really fun. But I showed him a photo. I can't remember the original photo, but I saw it on Instagram, and it was just as everyone started knitting accessories for these Labubus. And so I was like, how cute would that be if we made your little Labubu a hoodie? And so I found a pattern. I'm pretty certain it's a free pattern. That being said, I don't know that I'd recommend it. There have been other patterns, paid for patterns, that have come out since that I would be more interested in trying, because this one wasn't the best. I think I have some notes in the project page, because if you're a beginner, probably not the most intuitive thing. I did have to think and work a lot of it out in my brain. And I've knit sweaters before, so I kind of knew the process, but wouldn't recommend this pattern, or I guess knit at your own risk, because it is free. Actually, no, I take that back. I don't think it was free, which made me even more frustrated, because it is a very poorly written pattern and I paid for it and I wasn't very happy. But I did make some modifications. For example, I made a little hole in the top of the hood, because his is on the keychain, so he was able to like pull the little keychain loop through the hood, so he can always have the hood up. Hood's big enough to where the ears sit inside. He wears his on his belt loop while he's working, because you know, he's showing off the products that are available. And it started getting dirty just rubbing on his pants or his shirt or whatever, just rubbing up against things. And so this really protects it from rubbing on things. He did pick out the yarn, which I thought was real cute. I just showed him my scraps. Mind you, he is 21 years old, and so I was like, surely he doesn't want to sit and dig through my scraps to find yarn. He totally did, and I was super happy with what he chose. He grabbed some scraps from the Salty Bond Fiber, I think it was her chai latte, when we did the Pie Day collab 2 years ago. Yeah, he picked that and I was really shocked, but it matches very well with his Labubu and it looks very stylish, and I definitely want to knit some more accessories for it. That's how I'm going to keep myself from buying one. I'm just going to make a whole little wardrobe for him, for his Labubu, and hopefully that'll just scratch my itch so I don't need to go get one of my own to make. But they're all very cute little gremlins. Obviously he's got it with him right now. He's not here, so I can't go snag it and show you, but I will have inserted some footage or photos or something. Yes. That takes us into works in progress. And technically I do have a second half finished sock. The other one is in progress. So doing a little bit better here. But here is the finished sock. This is the Freckled Whimsy, and I think I bought this after the fact. I didn't join her Halloween club, but this was one of her Halloween club colorways. I adore Carrie's self-striping yarn. I am obsessed with her base. Ever since I got her advent a couple years ago, I've been buying up so much Freckled Whimsy. I'm currently now in 2 clubs. I've been in her monthly club, and then I just joined her Wednesday club. So if that tickles your fancy, go check that out. I think there's still spots open. But this was Ghosts in the Graveyard from, I can't even remember when, a while back, a few months back. She always puts extras, if she has any, into her shop. And so I just I stalk her updates a little bit and snag what I can when I see it. But I love this palette. I love how this gray repeats and then each one in between is a different color. I did use a contrast heel that came with it, I believe, for the heel. And you can see here how I only have a few of those bulb stitch markers left. That is because they have been transferred over to the sock I'm working on. So that being said, here is what I've got going right now. Again, vanilla sock, 2x2 rib, did my 5 rounds, slip stitch, heel flap, and gusset. And I've just barely finished the first Well, there's where I ended the gusset. So I am not quite at 10 rows past the gusset, but this is flying. I knit the majority of this. I stress knit it while watching The Hunting Wives on Netflix. If you have not watched that, oh my gosh. I don't even know if I liked it. I couldn't stop watching. It was like a train wreck. It was Desperate Housewives, Real Housewives, Little Hunger Games. Like, it was chaos. I can't describe it enough. If you know, you know. If you don't, you should watch it. But be aware, there is some nudity and pretty graphic scenes in it, so don't watch it around your children. Lots of drugs and alcohol use. It's pretty intense, but oh my god, I cannot stop watching it, and I stress knit the majority of the sock while watching. And then when I finished it, I immediately went and bought the book that it's based on. So I'm really looking forward to reading that, and I'm hoping I want to read more by this author too, because it's just scandalous. Like, there's so much intrigue and scandal, and it's just trashy in the best way. And so I'm really hoping that the rest of her repertoire, her books, are similar vibes, because if so, I will be reading a lot of them. I should also mention, I knit all of my socks on a US, I don't even know, 1.5. That's what I thought. I was like, it's not a 1, it's 1.5, 2.5 millimeter. And I've been really into 9-inch circulars lately. So I kind of go between DPNs and 9-inch circs. Lately it's been the 9-inch circs because I can just fly with them. And then I keep a couple DPNs in the bag, because then I switch over to DPNs to do my heel flap. And then once I'm ready to start picking up gusset stitches, I put it back, go back around, and the ones that were on the DPNs go back on the 9-inch circ, and then I just continue in the round like that. And then once I get to the toe, I will switch over to DPNs for the toe. I think that is all the sock whips I have going on right now. That is a lot. Checking my list. Yes. Yeah, that's all I've got. I don't know what's next after that as far as socks go, but I'm sure I'll figure that out at some point. But let's talk other works in progress. One thing I was really excited to cast on, and I believe last time we chatted, I shared some swatches for a Dopio. I was going to, I swatched up some color some color combos using my Magic and Whimsy collection, but then I remembered I'm really trying to stash down this year. I've chatted about this, about doing the 2025 stash down. Really, I just realized how much yarn I have purchased over the last few years, especially sweater quantities that just I don't get to. So I really wanted to focus on that, and then I remembered I had bought 2 different sweater quantities with very specific projects in mind. One of them was part of Long Dog Yarn's, let me see, actually I think I have skeins here. Yes, I do. Okay, so part of them I ordered from the One Collection to Rule Them All, which was Brandy's Lord of the Rings collection from a couple years ago. She had done some swatching, I believe, on her Instagram and stuff as examples, and I fell in love with the combo, and that was the combination of the White Wizard, which is this really pretty, super subtle blue-green gray, along with her mohair lace, and this is Lothlorian. And so the two of them together, I was like, oof, I love that swatch. I love how those look. So I bought a sweater quantity thinking that I was going to do some sort of sweater, cardigan, something holding these double. That was the goal. During that same time-ish, Treehouse Knits was having Treehouse Knits did a Riverdale collection, and at the time I was watching Riverdale, and so I was like, oh my gosh, this is awesome. And so I grabbed a sweater quantity of You Belong Here on her foxtail fingering, which is 100% superwash merino. And again, I saw this swatched up. It was really pretty, so I grabbed a sweater quantity thinking it would be some sort of top. But then I got to thinking, for a Dopio, you need 2 fingering weight yarns plus a lace weight, mohair or Surrey alpaca. But I was like, what would these look like together, right? Like, it's got some speckle intrigue here. It's kind of got this like almost turquoise gray here. And so I thought they just vibed really well together. And so I was like, that would totally kill 2 birds with 1 stone, because these 2 different sweater quantities, and by using them all together, I could really stash down on some stuff, right? So I got super stoked, and that's exactly what I did. And I'm gonna lose stitches here, but here it is so far. I am so glad I mixed these together. They look so good. Like, can you see? I'm sure it's getting a little blown out with the lighting, but it's just, let me see if I can get it to focus. It's just so yummy and I love it. I think it's gonna look so good. It gives almost like a heathered feel with those speckles coming through. And it's just, it's so pretty. I'm obsessed. I'm so glad that I did this. So I have split for sleeves. I'm probably 4 to 5 inches down the body. I need to focus on this some more, but you know, spinning took over my life as soon as Tour de Fleece started. So I've just joined the new cakes. So just barely had to cake up and join the second skeins for each color. And I think I have 3 of each, and so I should have plenty, but super duper happy with that. I've been enjoying working on it. The bigger needles has made it fly, and it's just really lovely pattern. I can see making more of these in my future. I kind of want to do one without the mohair or Surrey. I don't know, maybe like a silk lace would be pretty and something. I don't know, I'll have to think on it. But one without the fluff I think would be a nice alternative on days when I just don't feel like being fluffy. But I love it. So happy with it. So glad I went that direction. I'm sure my little swatches were super cute, and I'm sure they would make a beautiful Doppios. Is it Dopio? Doppio? You know what I'm talking about. I'm sure it would make beautiful sweaters, but I'm so glad that I went the route that I did. And being able to cross 9 skeins off my stash list, that is not too shabby. Very much looking forward to that. I should also mention I'm putting these away, but the White Wizard, the merino fingering I got from Brandy, is also 100% superwash merino. So they are the same base. And it's been a while since I worked with mohair. Typically I go the Surrey route just because I like Surrey better. It's softer for me, I think. But yeah, it's been a while since I used some mohair, so that's been nice. Similarly, I'm still continuing to work through my Advent sweater that I apparently have covered in my own hair and cat hair now, because she's been curling up in this chair while I work, and this has been sitting in the chair. Oh no, it got snagged. Well, gonna have to do some surgery. Maybe I shouldn't have this sitting in the chair where she climbs in and snuggles. But this is my, what was I doing? I've already forgotten. I think it's the Cozy Classic Raglan. That's what it is. I started this last year using the Fiber Fox 20. Okay, well, that's unfortunate. My camera stopped and then I started it and continued talking, and it apparently wasn't recording. So what I was saying was, I believe this was called the Golden Hour Advent. So it's very like sunsetty vibes, where it went from like a really kind of yellowy, soft, maybe it's not even yellow, it's just the base, soft, super soft pink speckles into more and more pink as the base, and then some pinky purples, purple, and now we're heading into the blue purple. So it's just getting darker as we head on down to the waist. What else did I say about this? I am I did the collar in a undyed sock yarn, or an undyed mini or something I had on hand, and then added the first mini, and then I am switching minis every 8 rounds. So I'm kind of going along what I did for my Korean poncho, which was what I did a couple years back. That one ended up very striped, which was the intent, but this one, because the fade is so gradual and so soft, it's literally just melting into the next one. You can't even tell where the color changes happened, and I'm super happy with it. What else? I am holding it double with a skein of my Lofty Cloud, which is my Surrey alpaca and silk lace weight, just some alpaca fluff. And the two together just create like the softest, it's almost pastel, but like you can see here, we're definitely heading into the blue purples, and they're just getting darker, but holding the white with it is really just like helping it all seamlessly blend together. I was also saying, I think I mentioned that I haven't been giving this as much love as I would like to. However, Hannah, the Corner of Craft, is kicking off her Advents of December's Past make-along, which she has done the past few years. Essentially, that is just to give us all a swift kick in the butt to finally finish projects that were Advent projects from December's past. So things that we had cast on and are now languishing, and here it is August and they need to be done, so then we can cast on new things in December with new Advent calendars. So that has always given me the motivation I needed in the past, and so hopefully I will give this some more love moving forward. I am holding aside whatever is left of each mini, so then the arms will, in theory, they'll match. So I will re-add the first color that I left off with when I split for sleeves, do that for 8 rounds, and then continue working my way down. So hopefully the sleeves will match the fade of the body. That is my one big hope. So I think I have it all worked out. I think my math is mathing and I should have enough. But if I don't and I have to fudge it a little bit, it's like I said, it's so gradual that I don't think it's going to make that big of a deal, because it just blends seamlessly into the next. So I love it. Really need to spend more time on it. I need to get it out of this chair because it's covered in cat hair now. Jazzy has apparently claimed it as her own. But what can she say? She loves snuggling up in my knits, and it just is what it is, and she's a spoiled little rotten kitty. So last project I want to chat about, where's my bag? Oh, right here next to me, okay, is another Advent calendar project that I started last year. This one also really needs to see more love because I really want this done and I want it done soon. Yeah, I keep getting sidetracked with other things. Socks and spinning has really just taken over my life lately, but this is what I am deeming my Sleigh on the Ranch project. This was a combination of last year's Chelsea on the Ranch Advent Calendar by Chelsea Yarns, Christina of Chelsea Yarns, and my Sleigh All Day cowl pattern that I wrote a few years back. I've already knit one of these in a gradient version using past year's Fiber Fox Advent. So I really wanted to knit it up using more of a like chaotic order, and I love it just as much. So this pattern is super fun, and not just because I'm biased, but every day the idea is to knit one of these sections, and it is a repeat of 4 different sections. So while they're similar, every day is different, and then obviously each one is a different color too, so it really keeps my brain intrigued. Advent calendars can be kind of hit or miss for me because I feel like projects that are all just stockinette or you know, like, I don't know, all just brioche or whatever it is, if they're all just one giant thing, then inevitably I'm going to get bored of it a couple weeks in. So I wanted to come up with something that would hold my interest and help motivate me to really just keep with it day after day. Obviously, we can see how well that worked out, but I had other things calling to my attention. But you begin with a provisional cast on, which is the blue here, and so the cowl version will connect back on itself, and you will have a full infinity cowl. It is knit in the round, which is nice. The wrap version the wrap version I wrote first is knit flat on a bias, and so there is a lot of purling involved. Not everyone loves purling, myself included, and so I really wanted to have some version where you would knit in the round instead of flat, and you could minimize a lot of the like lace work. Isn't super fun when you're knitting it flat, so I just prefer when things are knit in the round, but that's just me. Brioche too. So we've got a lace section here, then you do a brioche section, then a different type of lace work here, then brioche, then a kind of slip stitch fun section, then brioche. So brioche is every other section, and then each one in between rotates through the other 3 motifs. And so you just keep doing that throughout until you finish, and then you connect it all, and then you've got I don't have it with me, I thought it was right here. Then you have a finished infinity cowl. When I wrote it, I included a lot of modifications so you could really make it your own. One of them being if you want to hold some fluff in this garter section between each section just to give it a little bit more excitement, you could. Not required. Brioche can either be knit in one color, or if you want to hold a contrast color with every brioche section, you can do that as well. Same could be said, these garter sections could be a contrast color, so you have more of an obvious stripe in between each section. So really, I mean, the world is your oyster. You can do whatever you want. Lots of modifications. I also wrote the cowl and the wrap for a 12-day advent calendar. And there is also a smaller version of the cowl, so it won't be quite as long. Lots and lots of options available. That pattern is on my website, on Ravelry, and on Etsy as well, just for funsies, even though Etsy is kind of trash and I should just remove them off of there. But, you know, trying to just have it all the places. But yeah, super great advent project. I've done 2 now. This is my second cowl. I've done a wrap. Potentially might do another one for this advent. We'll see. But I just love it. It's so potato chippy. And as I'm saying this, UPS is showing up out front with my new spinning wheel, and that's so exciting. If you watch Tour de Fleece, those vlogs at all, you may know that I bought a Spinolution bullfrog, and I was like, it's not gonna be here in time for Tour de Fleece. Definitely is not. It is August 6th. Tour de Fleece has been over for almost 2 weeks, but it's here. I'm just stalking the UPS guy. Yes, bring me my wheel. Oh, the box is looking rather smushed. That's always lovely. We love to see that. If he throws it, I'm gonna set it down gently. Precious cargo. I'm sure they love being watched. Thank you, sir. I appreciate you. Okay. And since we're so close to being towards the end, I'm not gonna like pause and go get it and everything. I'm just gonna finish up the podcast and we will be good to go. For spinning. That leads us perfectly into spinning. I am not going to sit and show you everything I've spun in the last few months because there is a lot. I vlogged the whole Tour de Fleece. So if you're interested in watching me spin, seeing the end product, please go back and watch the Tour de Fleece videos. As of the time you're seeing this, I will have also included an update or like a wrap-up video where I've shared all of the things. I do have, at the time of filming, I do have 2 bobbins I need to ply together, and I'm almost done with another spin that I want to chain ply or 3-ply. I want to get those done before I do my wrap-up. Obviously they didn't get finished in Tour de Fleece, but they were started during Tour de Fleece, so I'll just finish them up and then include them in the wrap-up video. So as of right now, they're not quite done, but by the time you're seeing this, that video will be up. because the magic of editing and timing and all the things. You might see some sitting up here. There might also be some here, here. That's not it. Literally I have hand spun it's just all over right now because there's been so much happening. There's some fiber that needs to be finished sitting just here. It took over my entire life, and I'm really not that mad about it. So much spinning has happened. Again, wrap up video, I'll go over all of the totals too of how much fiber was spun, how many braids. I was able to stash down a lot of fiber, which was exactly what I wanted to do. It's very exciting. And potentially have some ideas for what I'll be making with said finished skeins. For enhancements, again, I'm not going to go through everything because there has been a lot since we last spoke. Not a lot, but like I do have monthly clubs and things along those lines, and so I have a few things that are here and handy that I haven't put away yet, but there have been other things that I've received since we spoke that I have put away or I have used or whatever the case may be. So this is not super duper accurate. I am part of the Year of Socks and Year of Fiber from Lemercery. So they have a year-long subscription club, whatever you want to call it, for either sock sets or fiber, or in my case, I bought into both because I have no chill. And so I have a lot of sock sets that have come in. I have a lot of fiber that's come in. Some I've used already. So that's just kind of all over. I do have the most recent ones that are sitting out here that I will share with you, but I don't remember what I've shared and what I haven't. But I do know the most recent ones are sitting right here, so I will share those. I also put in an order for Murray and Company because she had a beautiful summertime update, and this is Twilight Tiki on her soft sock set, which is 75/25 superwash merino nylon, and it's pretty. While I am doing a stash down, that does not mean I have stopped making purchases. I've just been more mindful when making purchases. So there hasn't been a whole lot, honestly, this year other than the clubs I've subscribed to. But as far as just like one-off joining pre-orders, I haven't done a whole lot of that. I've just been watching from afar. I also grabbed this one from Sarah of Murray Company. This is Breezy Caftan, again on the soft sock, and it was just summery, just pretty summery vibes, and I love the way she dyes yarn. It's so nice. I guess I do have a couple sock sets here that have come in the Lemercery Year of Socks, so I have no idea what month this was, but this is Creative Anarchy, and I'm looking for corny in my life. This is same base, 75% superwash merino, 25% nylon. This is dyed in the UK. Super pretty. Another one that came in is by Dying Wishes Yarn Co. And this is called The Earth Laughs in Flowers and Blooms. And this one, I do know that I'm currently working on the fiber that arrived in the same month because this palette is gorgeous. So soft and pretty. This is an 80% superwash merino and nylon. So a 2-ply, like my favorite sock base ever. I've got my August monthly self-striping club from Freckled Whimsy. So if you haven't received yours yet, hopefully I'm not spoiling this for anyone. They did arrive, I think, a week or so ago. This is August 2025. So yeah, it's the brand new one. This is Fancy Pants. It's a 12 stripe repeat. And this is on her Splendid base, which is chef's kiss. I'm obsessed. It's 85/15 superwash merino and nylon, and it is a 4-ply, and it's the softest sock base ever. And fun fact, I have picked up a similar base that I've been playing with. I haven't knit with mine yet, but I have dyed up the last couple of my Color Keep clubs on it so I could test it out. But if it's the same base, oh, I'm gonna be so excited. So excited. And this was July's monthly club. This was Puddle Jumping from Freckled Whimsy. This is 8 stripes. Love this one too. Got a lot of socks in my future. Had a lot of socks in my recent past. They're not slowing up yet. And then the most recent La Mercerie subscription came in. So again, hopefully no spoilers here. But if you haven't received the latest installment, I'm so sorry. This is Louie and Lola from Tasmania. This is a new to me dyer. I think that's what's so fun about this year of socks is it's a new dyer, fiber and yarn every month. And so I've been able to receive so many new to me dyers. I've followed so many more. I've made orders because, like, for example, Yarn Jam is a new to me fiber dyer. They were January's and I've since, like, yes, new favorite for sure. This is called Bohemian Nights. It is 75% superwash merino, 25% nylon. It's again, same as my soft sock base, but these colors are so pretty. Each dyer for the month is given a palette to be inspired by. And so that's also been really fun to see how the yarn dyer and the fiber dyer have translated the same color inspiration, photos and palettes and things. And sometimes they end up matching really well. And other times it's been really fun to see, okay, you can definitely tell this person took inspiration from this spot over here instead of as a whole, or whatever the case may be. And so they don't always necessarily look like they go together, which has been really interesting just to see how each artist interprets colors. The fiber is, let's see, Big Little Yarn Co., which is another new to me company. It's hand dyed in Japan. And this is called Antique Velvet. It is a merino and alpaca blend, 67% merino wool, 33% alpaca. And I have also since followed her because this is gorgeous. This is definitely one where you can tell they were vibing the same vibe. Inspiration hit the same, and I love how well these match. But this fiber is going on my wheel very soon because these colors are just screaming my name. But before that happens, this is going on my wheel and I can't wait. So this is gonna jump me into shop news. This is fiber that I dyed based off of my August Color Cube Club. So I've been playing around each month as I dye clubs with dyeing some up on fiber. Sometimes I just play with the fiber. I like start with the palette, but then like my brain glitches out and I end up doing something completely different. But I've sold them or put them up in the shop very infrequently and in very, very tiny quantities as I was just kind of dipping my toes. This is the first month that I am offering the Color Cube Club as a pre-order on fiber. So excited. Color Cube Club is available on 6 different sock bases with the option to add a mini to, I believe, 4 of those. So any of the fingering weight bases you can add a mini skein to make a sock set. But now I've also added a American Rambouillet fiber, which is what this is. And I've also added a Shanico silk fiber base, which is unbelievable. Like, I don't have an example for you here, but just know it is unbelievable. And if you've spun with Shanico silk, you know. So yeah, this is currently available through probably the last weekend of August. So I'd say around August 22nd, I'll probably pull the listing for the August clubs down just so I can get them all dyed and out that following week. But yeah, if you want some on fiber, the fiber is very limited because again, I'm dipping my toes, so it's not just like an open-ended pre-order where all of a sudden I'm going to have 50 braids to dye. I did limit it both bases, so just so you're aware. So if you want to grab some, please do. I will be putting this on my wheel ASAP, and spinning it up. So you will hopefully be able to see some sort of sample skein before the listing comes down. That is the goal. Okay, sorry for the dramatic shift in filming equipment, but my card is full and I can't be bothered to fix it for the last like sign off of this podcast. So you're on my phone now. But I did some scheduling. I figured out my schedule for the rest of the year, I should say. And kind of what I had planned, what I knew I was going to have. And it turns out I should have availability to open up another small round of advents for those that may have missed out. I did a poll on Instagram and kind of in my last email newsletter just to gain interest, just to gauge, to see if anyone was even still in the advent buying. I don't know if anyone even wanted to buy advents still or whatnot, but if no one was really interested, then I would dedicate that time to something else. But it turns out it had a really great response. So I will be opening up a few more advent slots here in the next couple of weeks. I don't have an exact date nailed down, but hopefully within the next week or two, I will open those up and then likely close them down the first week of September, just because I do need to get the remainders in the dye pots. So I've been working fast and furiously on advents already, and I'm obsessed with how they are turning out. I may be biased, but the color palettes this year are just making me so happy. So I've got blues and purples and pinks and navies and cool greens and just, oh, the vibes are so good and I'm so excited about it and seeing what I've done so far. No spoilers, not saying anything. I've also got some really exciting things in the works to include with set advents. They will be 24 days, so you will get 24 minis. You have the option to include a full skein for day 25 if you so choose, and you have the ability to include some form of fluff, whether that be mohair or Surrey silk. I think I'm sort of moving away from the mohair, so it might just be Surrey that you can add, but it is an optional addition. So if whatever you're making calls for a bit of fluff, you'll have that in a coordinating color as well. So some options there. That link is always up on my shop if you want to go read through it and see details. Right now it does say sold out. However, I will update it with a date and time for when you can expect the next round to go live, and I will always send out an email newsletter with a few days in advance so people can prepare. I would never just spring it on people. So make sure you signed up for the email newsletter via the website. If you are really wanting to get in on that, follow me over on Instagram. I will announce there as well and have links in my stories. And I have a broadcast channel where I always drop updates. So if you want updates immediately, that's the best place for that too. But yeah, I should have a few more small round to open up, and I'm so excited that I can offer them to more people. And it just worked out this way that I have more time on my hands this year, and so super excited about that. I think that's really all I have for you all. If you watched this far, leave me some sort of dessert emoji, because I'm currently, my tummy is growling and I'm hungry, and some form of cookie or something sweet treat sounds really good right now. So drop me an emoji of your favorite dessert. I'd love to hear what you've been working on. Did you tour de fleece? Did you spin? Have I inspired you to cast on something new? Are you working through socks as much as I am? Do you have languishing socks that need their mates? Like, hopefully I'm not alone in that. I did also ask on Instagram, what does one do when their sock drawer fills up? And most people responded with, empty a new drawer. Like, noted, telling my husband he's losing a drawer so I can put more socks into a second drawer. I like the way people think. But as far as reading, constantly reading, not going to go too deep into that because this podcast is already long, but if you're curious about what I'm reading, I usually share that in stories too. Watching, yeah, or just I don't even know. We finished The Hunting Wives, like I already mentioned, and what's the other one Netflix just came out with? Untamed. That's been pretty good. So it's got Hector from Troy. That's all I know him as, Eric Bana. All I can think of the whole time is Brad Pitt screaming Hector whenever I see him on my screen. But does anyone else have that problem where you see someone in a role and they're just forever that role in your brain? I have that with so many people. I can't stand, I'm forgetting his name. He's in Lord of the Rings. Is it Elrond? He is the agent from The Matrix. And because I had such a strong dislike of him in The Matrix, I just dislike him in every other role. I don't know. I've got some weird aversion or something. It's like Joffrey. That poor kid that played Joffrey is just SOL for the rest of forever. Everyone's gonna see him as Joffrey. Same goes for like Harry Potter, Ron Weasley. Like they will forever and always be those roles to me. But anyway, tangent. I'm babbling and not making any sense. So sorry it was so long in between episodes. And I do want to do a giveaway this episode for those that have stuck with me and were so patient. If you're leaving a dessert emoji, great. If you want to be included, I didn't think this through very well. If you want to be included in, just making sure my phone is still recording. If you want to be included in the giveaway, then say yummy. YUMMY somewhere in your comment. That'll be what I search for when I do a giveaway. And how about I give away a few of my Sleigh All Day wraps or cowls. That sounds like fun. I can give those away. We are coming up on Advent season. We are coming up on colder weather to where people are going to be ready to wrap up in their knits, and that could be fun. If you get picked and you already own both of those patterns, I'd be happy to gift you something else. So we can chat about that if and when we'll cross that bridge. But drop me a dessert emoji if you watch this far so I know you're sticking with me, and comment something with yummy if you want to be included in that pattern giveaway. But until next time, hopefully it won't be months in between. I promise I'll be better about this. I say this every time. But I do, like I said, I'm finding I have a little bit more time on my hands. My kids have officially both graduated from high school, and so they are like in work mode and they're not around super often. It's been a bit of an adjustment this summer. It'll be even more of an adjustment as we head into fall and winter and kind of their next steps. But it looks like I will be doing less momming, more crafting, more running a business, all the things. So that's exciting. But yeah, until next time, I hope you enjoy whatever it is you're working on. Thanks for sticking with me, and I will chat with y'all very soon.